First of all, I love this film. It has a ton of heart. And before, prior years, it would have been hard to envision you in like a superhero movie, but you dive.
Me too.
What made you dive headfirst into it? And is there anything beyond the superhero movie, beyond visuals and explosions, that you think can be different?
Well, you know what? I mean, good story is a good story, and I never like told myself. I agree with you. I was the same way. I was like, I just don't see that, you know. And I like doing these other types of movies and whatever that means. And we kind of like dipped our fingers into Jonah Hex, and that didn't turn out so well. So I was like, you know, I had an intention for that movie, and it didn't reach it. So I kind of stayed away from that thing. But, you know, there's something that happens when you have the opportunity first, when Kevin Feige is talking to you, and from a really like a fan, you know, base point of view, and he's saying, we thought of this great story and we always saw you doing it, you know, and it's not the compliments necessarily, but it's like all the Avengers against you.
Sure.
Love that idea. Let's like, that's an anomaly, that's fun, you know, it's a culmination of 10 years and all that. So that kind of like put me into that spot, and I was so happy to do it. I love doing it, I love the result. And then Deadpool happened in the middle of that, and I was like, I've already decided to do that. But I got a thing for Ryan, man, you know? He's just, I think he's a really smart guy. He created a tone that was really unique, and I just said, yeah, why not?
You know,
Let's do it.
Speaking of that, this film has surprisingly a lot of heart in it. So when you read the script, were you surprised by how much heart was in it?
Yeah, I mean, it had the sketch of that, and then there's a lot of rewriting, and there's a lot of adjusting, especially with comedy and what he's doing and all that. But yeah, I loved it. I loved the thing with him and the kid.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Absolutely.
Even though kid's behaving in a way that you don't like, and then people can identify with that. You have the lost love of your life with his girl and all. So I like all that stuff. You know, Cable's coming because of his family, and he's doing that. So there's a lot to kind of lean on, other than just the humor.
Right.
That I think is fun. But going back to what we were saying, a good story is a good story.
Exactly.
It doesn't always turn out, but a good story is a good story, whether it's a tentpole movie or an independent film.
But that's what I love about these Deadpool films, is because the first one's like a romance movie, and this one's more about family, and you can feel that. And Cable and Domino are seamlessly added to the Deadpool franchise. Can you talk to me about any reshoots that may have happened that integrated Cable more of that Terminator role to fit him more into like the X-Men universe?
There was, you know, there were the reshoots that came up, and there was more about adding Cable, adding more Cable, adding more Domino, completing fight sequences that really didn't have like a tete-a-tete that needed it. Like you can feel when something needs something. So I think that they were really, I think they were incredibly productive, whereas I think reshoots are usually compensatory. You know, and you go, oh, then we don't like the movie, and let's try to change it into a movie that's better. Whereas this, I think, and I can tell what the reshoots are, not just because I know, but I think it's just better. And Sam Hargrave came in and did some of the fight sequences, who hadn't been there before, and his fight sequences are amazing. So, you know, it was just an added necessity. And Domino, I think, is amazing.
Brilliant.
In the movie. I think she's such a breath of fresh air in this movie. I love her.
Now, you talk a lot, like you talked about just having a great story. Where would you like to see Cable go next? And have you talked to Drew Goddard about the direction of Cable and his role next?
I freaking love Drew Goddard. Every conversation that I've had with him, which is only 3 now, has been brilliant. Like, he's an amazing guy, and I can't wait to work with him as a filmmaker. I'm a huge, huge fan of his. I love The Martian. I love all that stuff. So, you know, what happened at the end of this movie, which you don't get a lot of it before, but toward the end, you see more of the banter between Deadpool and Cable, and I like that. You know, that kind of Eddie Murphy, Nick Nolte thing. And,
well, that's a great description.
And we want to see that kind of flourish.
Awesome.
And I think I've found that with Ryan during the press tour more.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I got to know him on the press tour. I didn't know him well enough, you know, and then once we started this thing, and we're traveling all over Europe together, and we have this kind of thing going on. It was fun. I had a good time.
Well, amazing job in the film.
Thanks,
Thank you so
man.
much. Thank you.